All right, welcome to the Footy Museum and the Footy Museum podcast, where we celebrate all things visual from the world of football. I am Justin Whitty, and I am joined, as always, by my co-director, but also my colleague and friend, Maria Van Dykenlee. Maria, how are you feeling today? It is Sunday. We had a full day of Premier League action. How are you feeling?
I'm learning to get excited about new things.
For those of you who don't know, Maria is a Leeds fan. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means she's been suffering
Loss.
through what?
Many big losses.
Oh, so they played the other American.
Yeah, it was a big American
it's,
weekend.
Even though it's two players, right? But Fulham, which has the USMNT sometime captain and ageless wonder Tim Ream.
He is an ageless wonder, isn't he?
Yeah, 35 and best.
Geriatric, practically.
I know. And Anthony Robinson. And they're great. And they took care of business against their American friends on Leeds. In what was a shockingly low energy Craven Cottage for fun. Is it always like that?
I don't know if it's always like that, but
it was dead silent. And I'm looking like the stands are full, but it was like
tennis rules. It was like 2-finger claps or like golf. It was just like, oh, Fulham scored a second.
It
yes.
was. Do we know why that is? Is it like?
I don't know. Maybe it's. I haven't ever noticed that before, but.
I mean, it was really not what you expect from it. I guess each stadium's different. I would not classify that as a great atmosphere. It's cool that they have the old cottage building in the corner of the stadium, and it's right on the river there. But it was like,
it was sleepy.
Yeah. Unlike the race ground where Wrexham, my favorite team, won promotion back into the EFL while simultaneously breaking the record for most points in a season in the 5th tier of English football. And all they had to do is get two incredibly famous multi-million-dollar celebrities to push every financial boundary.
I think this is only your beef with Ryan Reynolds. This is purely just that. Whatever your problem is with him, I think this all boils down to that.
My only problem with Ryan Reynolds is that I'm not Ryan Reynolds.
Where's your gin company?
And he is a everyday living reminder of the potential I have failed to meet in my life. So dramatically. It's like, wow, this is what's humanly possible for you. And then if we look way down the chart, that's where you landed. And you're scared. But I did follow the news, and the scenes there were crazy.
The field rush at the end was very fun. So
just the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I can get the draw. I mean, that's what you love about football, that sort of passion, which was not on display at Fulham.
I think it's fun to see any team celebrate when they succeed. Yeah. It's just like really magnetic energy, and it's fun to see people excited and happy. This has been an interesting story. Jeremy made the really good point that the only people who are upset that Hollywood superstars bought Wrexham and pumped money into it are people who don't support Wrexham, and that most Wrexham fans are very, very happy.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
So I'm like, if the fans support it, if they don't mind the source of the capital, then like I'm all for it.
And I see them being right away contenders for promotion again. I think when they get to League One, they're going to start to run up against Mauritius, because the kind of money that can change the whole environment of a club in the 5th tier starts to get a lot different once you get to the top 3 tiers.
They did hold their own in the FA Cup, and I think that's a good preview of what's to come.
They did against a third tier team. And I think the other thing at play for them is I think the intimidation factor of playing them is really high because I'm sure these other players are watching this series as well. But again, I point to it's exciting, but the quality of football is not really high. But it's very, with the atmosphere and like how much they're putting into it is good. I may watch the series now. I have a notebook that my friend Meg gave me, so I feel obligated. So I'm slowly getting sucked in.
See, that's all it takes.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was probably some of the biggest news this weekend. The fifth tier.
Wrexham getting promoted to the EFL.
The Fire don't play until tonight, but there was a otherwise full slate of MLS games. We are, I think, match day 9. This is match day 9 in MLS, and we're getting to the point where, because intrinsically in the league, every game doesn't matter because there's no relegation.
Playing for fun.
Well, it's not even for fun. I think like the season starts, there's a lot of excitement, and there's in some cases, a lot of times there's new teams in the last few years, getting a sense of how teams have rebuilt, what do things look like, and then you hit this long period of the middle of the season. So 10 games were it'll be close to a third of the season. But I would say that middle 10 to 15 games can be a real slog because they just don't matter as much unless you're a top team like LAFC who wants to just break records and be a continental powerhouse, which they are. But the vast majority of teams that are, trying to make the playoffs, make a deep run, and just draw in fans for the atmosphere of their clubs, I think it gets hard. Plus, these players travel so far.
It's a lot.
It's like being if it was Europe, it would be like
a European league.
Well, it would be like if you were in London.
Yeah.
And there were teams in Russia or Turkey that were in your same league that you had to regularly travel to. It's just
I get tired if I have to drive 3 hours to see my parents.
Yeah. Well, that's
I'm
another
on their
issue.
couch for a weekend.
We can talk about that later. So the number of hours traveling, the time, and this week I kind of got a sense.
You know what the issue is? I don't have a private jet.
Oh, the issue with you and your parents is
that's why it's so tough.
Has nothing to do with any childhood
If I had a private if I had a private jet, then it'd be zip, and I'd be like,
guess what? Many MLS teams also do not have private jets.
I bet LAFC has one.
I'm sure LA does. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It is a tough time. But it's also approaching a time where they have the stage to themselves for a while, which is sadly lines up with kind of the slog of summer. But it's still exciting, and I'm still excited about the Fire, so we'll see how they do. But speaking of MLS, there was something I wanted to show you. Yesterday was Earth Day, and one thing MLS is probably the top league in the world at is marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Or one of the top leagues.
Well, then why doesn't the Chicago Fire sell any tickets?
What? Uncalled for stray.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Was that too close to home?
Why do you hate your hometown club? Have you ever been to Leeds?
No, I'm just making a joke.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm sorry that it hurt. But
no, I think as a league, partially because it's like very organized, centrally controlled. They have clear initiatives they carry out, and each year around Earth Day, they release all the teams play in similar kits that are toned down because they use recycled ocean plastics for the kits. Have you seen these?
I saw the kits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they released that this week. I wanted to share how a video that was used. And this specifically is coming from Inter Miami, but it was used in all the teams to launch the kits this year. And tell me how it makes you feel about football and the earth.
Okay, about football and the earth. Well, okay. See a shark. Is he a diver?
There's someone dived into the ocean with a soccer ball. I don't know if you caught that.
It's hard to dive with a soccer ball.
Shark eating something.
A fish.
Dramatic music. Another hammered shark. Oh, and there is a supermodel with a crop top eco jersey on, hovering angelic like with the hammerhead shark, beckoning him almost, or it. I don't want to assume a gender on that shark.
Okay, this is a lot of shark.
Now the hammerhead is swimming away. And now the basically naked woman with the crop top is laying in the sand with the shark.
8 million metric tons of plastic are
Now they talk about the plastic.
They just threw a water bottle into the ocean to get a shot.
For filming purposes.
Microplastics and nanoplastics.
So the point is a good one, right? There is a lot of plastics in the world, in our bodies.
When are they going to show the garbage island in the Pacific?
Well, they're waiting for NYCFC to move that to the Atlantic so they can build a stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Reclaimed land.
But anyway, so they're trying to draw attention to the amount of plastics we waste and say, hey, we're doing something good. But I have an issue.
Okay.
And I think that it goes more broadly to the downside of kit culture in general and fast fashion, is that they make these special kits, and this weekend the teams all wear them, and then they release them in all the stores.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, a percentage, I don't know if it's 75%, 20%, whatever. A percentage of it is made using recycled ocean plastic waste. It's great that they're recycling that, but are they just making more waste? That's my question, because they would not. They created a whole New Jersey printed, and I don't think they sell well at the stores.
Whenever I see, just in stores in general, a like Save the Earth t-shirt, I laugh to myself and I'm like, this is going to be in a landfill in 6 months.
Yeah, I remember.
So for the players wear new kits every game. So if the players wear a one-off new design, that's not a big deal. But whenever you produce anything
to sell it all,
you're producing like a level of product that's never going to sell. These companies all the time burn their extra clothes.
Yeah,
textile waste is one of the biggest problems we face with waste in general, and the irony is just it.
It's frustrating. It points to so much like theatrics when it comes to environmental issues.
If they wanted to do anything, they should make every kit they produce.
Yeah, why not the normal ones all the time? Probably because it's too expensive. And also, why do they have to wear new kits every game?
Because there's so many laundry accidents that lead to rebranding of teams. You should know this by now.
I forgot. Right, that's why
multiple teams we've researched.
If you listen back to our older podcast, that's why Juventus ended up with a pick. Oh, and
Universitario as well.
And Universitario with their off-white. But I would argue more cool things could happen if they just did. And not only should they do wear the laundered jerseys, but let really inexperienced people do the laundry. So there's
there's more variety.
Quirky things could happen. But quick tie-in, since we're talking about Wrexham, the second place team in the 5th tier also had a record number of points, and that's Notts County, which is responsible for every striped jersey in the world. I feel like they should automatically be promoted for that. Like they should be in Champions League because they gave half the teams their kits at some point. So anyway, I thought you would find that interesting.
I do find it interesting.
And I know you have such a deep love of MLS that you love talking about all of it.
I poke fun at it, but I do enjoy its quirks.
Yeah, it is. It is quirky.
And I love having a local team to support.
Yeah, I'm worried we might not. I don't know. I wonder how much longer. They started to put out all these promos like, come to a before game Q&A with someone from our management and get free tickets to the game. And I'm like, oh no, they didn't really. And I have to say, it is. I went last weekend.
The weather was wonderful.
The weather was amazing, and they played Philadelphia, a good team. They always have tight games with, and even then, the stadium was not as full as even as it was last year. Like a beautiful. Maybe that had to do with the roving bands of unruly teenagers rampaging through central Chicago at the same time. I'm not sure. Did you know about that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw a clip. Yeah.
Well, that was going on at the same time.
Oh my
so
goodness.
Maybe that had something to do.
Maybe.
But that's the thing. You watch these other, at least say what you want about MLS. A lot of these new or other clubs are filling their stadiums. They're loud. They seem like an exciting experience. Chicago can't get over that hump. And I don't know if it's just a broader mental space Chicago as a city's in right now. Because it does feel like tough times in Chi-Town a little bit.
Maybe.
But, I don't know. They just got to win. I think that's it. How many 2-0 leads can you blow before people are like, you know what? I'm not coming back.
Oh, but it's still fun.
Yeah, it's still fun. I still like it. We had a great time. I went with Olivia and both girls and both my daughters, and we had a blast. It was fun. And then we went down to Millennium Park and smashed some windows.
Oh, no.
No, just kidding.
Jumped on some car roofs.
That was not us. So we don't, our interview lined up for today, it hasn't materialized yet. So it's a shorter pod. But we will be back with an interview next week. Hopefully someone who's been in, talk about their experience in the Real Madrid Academy and also their exciting sports future. I will keep this all a mystery. Someone you and I both know and who also knows our heads very well. That's all I'll say.
Such a weird thing to say.
But we did want to put something out this week. And I just wondered, is there anything else you want to talk about, Maria? I mean, the Red Stars got spanked.
They did. That means that the Fire have to win.
I know they will. The Fire. If you're a betting person and you somehow listen to this before we release it in the next hour, put some money on the Fire because the metrics are there. Leeds and Red Stars lose.
They lost.
Fire's
so Fire
going
has
to win. Yeah. Or not.
Or not. Maybe it's an off week.
What else are you thinking about? What else are you thinking about? Edit that out. When I screw up like that.
I'm leaving it in today. One thing we never got to talk about that I know you have an opinion on is the new U.S. kit.
That's right. New kits, obviously, because it is this whole World Cup year, 2 years in a row, like throws me for such a spin because it's almost too much. Or is it? Or I don't know. I think the Women's World Cup is going to be awesome because one, it's the right time of year. It'll actually be in summer.
It's not in Qatar.
It's not in Qatar.
That'll make things nice.
And the U.S. are favorites. So like right then and there, it's much more exciting. Although I guess it would be winter where it's being played though, right? Because it's Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, Southern Hemisphere.
Wait. Yeah.
Or would it be more fall?
It's like fall. It's like the exact
I don't think it ever
opposite of us.
gets super cold down there, so maybe it's better than.
I wish I knew more about the climate.
Yeah, I wish you came more prepared
Yeah.
too. But we're talking about their kits. We're talking about their kits. So there's two kits. One is dark blue and it has like a scale, kind of like a. And
Like
from what I've read, it's dyed into the fabric.
That's cool.
So it actually looks pretty good on the. So it's like a blue, dark blue, and a lighter blue, right? So there's two. The one is kind of an adaptation of, and I would say improvement of what the men wore last summer. And to be clear, these are kits for both the men's and women's teams. So the men's will be wearing these during the Gold Cup, as just as the women are wearing them in the World Cup. There's a dark blue one with almost like a Sonic or Cloud. Would you call that like
From here, it's blotchy.
Blotchy? but it's made of like vertical lines. I view it as clouds almost, but it's like a dark blue organic pattern on a lighter blue. And my understanding is that that's dyed with the ink, so it looks really good on the authentic kits. And then what I think is nice is they went with a high contrast accent. So
I think that red is really good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very bright red. The badge is not a sewn-on badge, but is printed with a red on the blue, which makes it really pop. And of course, the U.S., our wonderful women's national team, gets to put all those beautiful stars across the top. 4 of them now. The weird Nike little triangle accent
I do
at the
not
top.
like
Don't
those
the
Nike
collar.
Nike collars.
I do like the sleeve trim, though. It looks like it's just a little strip. It's that dark blue and red. And it looks like a jagged line, or like just a hint of like a jagged. And it's just kind of fresh enough that I like the blue one.
Yeah, I like the blue one too. Trim is tricky for me, but I think if it was just missing the weird Nike collar, I'd like it a lot more.
The collars are bad. Well, but on the other one, the white kit, they did get rid of that collar, and it's like a ring collar. It's like a ring tee.
I love ringer tees
with a blue collar.
Because you know what? Then you don't have to replace it as often because your sweaty neck doesn't discolor the collar. So they could just rewear these and launder them.
And you know what's interesting? As I mentioned before, you and I work together in the arts, in an art museum. And, you know, one of the major art movements that defined the U.S. art landscape in the 1950s and 60s was abstract expressionism. This kind of large American, large-scale, expressive, be your own individual. Colorful,
messy,
brooding, powerful, individual genius.
Over the top.
Wild. And you told me that this kit, was it just the white one or both of them?
I thought it was just the white one.
Okay. Was inspired by abstract
That's what I read.
And so I was interested to see that. Would you say that this, to you, seems like abstract expressionism?
It looks more like somebody dropped a blue pen in the wash when they washed these.
Or, you know, when you're decorating T-shirts when you're a young kid, you flick a pen. If you break off.
Oh yeah.
Take in the little plastic cartridge and cut it open and then flick it. So just a little bit of ink spray.
I think it doesn't help that it's definitely blue pen blue.
Yes, it's blue
looks
pen
like
blue.
a big pen.
So it's just like white splotches, I guess.
Or it's blue splotches on a white shirt.
The abstract expressionism, maybe someone briefly, while doing something else, side-eye Googled Jackson Pollock, it looks like. Or if you told AI to create a Jackson Pollock without actually looking at it. It's bad. It's really bad. Have you seen these in action at all?
No.
Because I know the women have played a number of games recently, but are they still wearing the old kits? Will these be unveiled at the... Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm a little bit more accepting of this type of design than you, I think, because
you're a Leeds fan.
I like some of the tie-dye kits, and this is in line with those. But I took issue with the comparison to abstract expressionism because the expectations and the reality did not meet.
You could do a lot of cool things with that. You could do a lot of cool things, especially with the printing capabilities. Like, again, real tame.
It's very tame.
And that's in contrast to a lot of the other World Cup kits coming out.
You know what would have been
Adidas.
cute? It would have been cute if they did a full ringer tee and did the ring around the collar and the arms.
What if it was just straight up ringer tee?
And then like
silkscreen one color USA.
Camp USA soccer sports. 1982.
People would love it.
I'd buy it. My style words for this summer are Midwest 1980s gym class. That's my inspiration for this summer.
From someone who actually experienced that firsthand, I would say you don't know what you're talking about.
I've read history books.
So again, just like the World Cup this past winter, I was almost said summer, but it was not that long ago. Nike and Puma came out with some pretty tame, not exciting. The Nike US kit this time is better than last year. Still not great. But again, who's killing it?
Adidas.
Yes. So you want to walk us through what's behind these pretty dynamic?
Oh my goodness. These have been out for a little while, but Adidas designed kits for their women's clubs that they're designing for that are all based on the natural landscapes of the countries that they are from. And so they made these like really rich, very high impact kits for, I remember there's Germany, there's Japan, there's
I have it here. Hold on. Excuse me. They did Australia, New Zealand, the host countries, and Argentina, so powerhouse there. Colombia, Germany, Japan, Spain, and Sweden, and they also had done them recently for Costa Rica, Italy, Jamaica, and the Philippines. But for the World Cup, it's that first list I mentioned.
The design on these is so rich, specifically Germany, which I think is the green one. Is that right?
Yep,
That's
Germany's the green one.
based on the Black Forest.
Oh, yeah.
And the Japanese one, I think, is like sunset and mountain time. And some of them are like wet rocks and stuff. And it really, the photographs too, or the renderings, however they made these images, are really stellar.
In the Sweden's water, I'm guessing. Not a fan of the Italy one. It looks like marble, right? I mean, that would make sense since most of the world's marble comes from Italy, but...
And you have granite countertops?
No, I like many current Americans use quartzite.
Quartz? Yeah, me too.
Because I want to save the mountains and I can't afford the other stuff. Okay. Yeah, so it's exciting. And I'm excited for this World Cup. Everything I'm hearing about it, again, it's actually in the summer, so most leagues in the world will be stopped. The women's game, which has been huge in the U.S. for a while, I feel like in the last 4-year cycle, has exploded everywhere else. And so the level of competition is going to be really high. So I think it's just going to be a really strong competition. And it's always nice with this World Cup being like, we could maybe win. And we have won. You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, we drew England. We are kings of the world.
We made it past group stage.
I know.
We're the best.
We played ugly football and we didn't get destroyed. Look at our coach's shoes. Oh.
Watch that bounce pass.
Oh, yeah, never again. So that's exciting. Yeah. So, I would say back to the question, the U.S. kit's better, not great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I am, even with the Adidas kits it seems like the trend has gone away from really graphic patterns or clean edges on them, and everything is very layered and modulated. I think because of technology allows them to do it. The only thing I have with all that style is translating from the field to like a fan. I think that's a hard thing to wear.
It's because you have to crop it.
According to MLS,
you have to crop.
The proper way is to cut just below the nipples. And to wear one of these. They should make them wear that, like the men, like that.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Anyway, but I do think it's harder to translate into just like, oh, I'm gonna wear jeans with a jersey when there's that much going on. It's a little.
I see it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when the trend will come back because this is the way just like street fashion is getting like super oversized and circa late 90s, 2000s. So I'm wondering
especially in shirts
when the big jerseys are going to come back.
I'm surprised.
Big jerseys, big shorts.
I don't think that they will, only because the focus so much on performance, and those do not aid in
They don't aid,
performance.
do they?
One,
It's like a big
they're
sail.
bulky, they're heavier, they're sail, but also they're easier to grab.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big downfall from them. So like the tighter you have it, the more benefit you actually have as a player.
So the next stage is a full crop top for players as well.
I think they're going to go full bodysuit, just like
Okay.
swimmers tried to do a few years ago, and then they're like, no, that gives you too much. You know those green suits that one kid at college always wears? Remember those?
Yeah, green man.
Yeah, it'll just be those
Okay,
with abstract expressionist patterns printed on it. Oh, when ChatGPT plays Google AI in the Saudi World Cup capital, we'll all be there watching that. Well, I think that's it for this week. You're welcome, listeners. That was some great content. Top level, top shelf.
Brought to you by Aviation Gin.
That's the real reason I have a beef with Ryan Reynolds is his gin company does better than mine. That's really it. We both have multi-million-dollar companies. It's going to be so
That's
sad.
because you're distilling your gin in your garage.
Yeah, but he does the same thing. His garage just happens
It's
to
nicer.
resemble a state-of-the-art distillery.
Yeah.
But that was his garage first.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I bought this distillery. No, I know all about it. I do find a certain amount of enjoyment as there's a photo of him and Ryan McElhaney.
Rob McElhenney.
There is a picture of him and Rob McElhaney. Yeah,
Mac,
and
yeah.
Rob, Mac.
Rob.
The co-owner, who seems more invested in the team, but maybe less famous than Ryan. And they're holding the, I think it's called the Valorama Cup, is the championship cup for the fifth tier. And they were obviously recently sprayed with rain or champagne.
Oh, and it looks like...
It looks like Ryan peed himself,
Yeah.
and it's like the photo that's gone. And he's a funny man, and I think that he would embrace that and make jokes about it. So, but it is like an early 2000s cast reunion every time there's a game, because like Paul Rudd was at this one.
Uh-huh.
You got
Will Ferrell's always
wins.
there.
The whole cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was there the other day.
That's nice.
So we'll go out on this, Maria.
Oh, no.
In Wrexham's first game in League Two, who will be the early 2000s American celebrity to join Rob and Ryan in the box?
James Vanderbeek.
You heard it here first. James Vanderbeek.
Beak.
Okay. I'm going to say it's going to be one of the Wilson brothers. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Owen Wilson. Maybe Christina Applegate. I don't know. One or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And then follow-up question, who will be the next Marvel superhero?
Luke Wilson.
Is Luke Wilson a Marvel superhero?
Oh, you mean the next Marvel superhero?
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying he's going to
I
get...
mean, that was just your prediction. No, I meant to go to a
What
Wrexham
movie
game.
haven't they done yet? Squirrel Man will be Luke Wilson.
All right, guys, that was the Footy Museum podcast. Sorry you don't get that 37 minutes back to your life. But join us next week. We'll have an actual person to interview. And please,
Because we're AI.
if you do enjoy this and do listen, and I know there's been more of you, please subscribe and like, and then also check out our website. And if you are so inclined, sign up for email alerts as we start to roll out new projects in the next year. All right, Maria.
Okay, Justin.
Have a great week. I'll see you at work.
At work.
All right, bye.